Hello, this is Jerry, and I welcome you to another spooky story. There is a moment on a dark road where your brain stops protecting you, where it drops every explanation it's been holding on to, and just shows you the truth of what you're looking at. That moment for me happened on a bridge, Route 447, rural Pennsylvania, past 2 in the morning, and what was sitting in the center of that bridge, I have never been able to explain. Not once, in all the years since. It was late. Not the early kind of late where the restaurants are still open and there are still lights in people's windows. The real late. The kind where you're generally one of the only people left moving in the world. My girlfriend and I had been driving for hours. Route 447 cuts through some of the most isolated countryside in Pennsylvania. No towns, gas stations, street lamps, nothing. Just miles and miles of forest pressing in from both sides, and a 2-lane road threading through the middle of it. I had my high beams on, not because I was being cautious, though I was, but because of the animals. You get deer on that road constantly. Also foxes, rabbits, all sorts of animals, things that dart from the tree line without warning. I had already slowed the car down to a crawl in 2 places that night to avoid hitting something. The beams of the headlights were the only thing I trusted. Everything they touched was mine to see. Everything beyond them was not. We had been driving in comfortable silence for maybe 20 minutes when the other car appeared, coming from the opposite direction, far enough away that it was just a glow on the horizon. 2 headlights. Normal. Expected. I registered it the way you register any car on a dark road, almost with like a sense of relief. Proof that the world still exists, that we are not the last 2 people on Earth. And then the car started flashing its lights. Once, twice, 3 times. I assume I had forgotten to turn my brights off. It happens. I reached down and clicked them off, then back onto the regular setting. But the car kept flashing, over and over. I clicked my lights again, still flashing. My girlfriend looked at me, I looked at her. Neither of us said anything. We didn't need to. We both felt it at the same moment, that this was not about the headlights. This was something else. Was it a warning? A signal? Something that the driver had seen on this road that they needed us to know about? Who knows? The car passed us without slowing. I watched its taillights disappear in my rearview mirror and felt something cold settle in my chest. The kind of cold that has nothing to do with temperature. We drove on, slowly, both of us leaning slightly forward now, both of us watching the road with a different kind of attention. The trees felt closer, the dark felt heavier. About a quarter mile ahead, the road curved and then opened onto a bridge, an old narrow one. Steel guardrails on either side, the kind that are more rust than metal. Underneath, a drop to a creek to pass each other if both of them held their breath. Steel guardrails on either side, the kind that are more rust than metal. Underneath, a drop to a creek bed that I couldn't see in the dark. The bridge was just wide enough for 2 cars to pass each other if both of them held their breath. We came around the curve and the headlights hit the bridge. And then they hit what was on the bridge. My first thought was debris. A trash can maybe. Something that had fallen off a truck. A shape sitting in the exact center of the lane. My brain reached for the most normal explanation available and grabbed it with both hands and held on tight, because that's what brains do. They protect you from what they are not ready to process. I pushed the high beams back on. It was a woman, sitting cross-legged, in the center of the bridge, in the center of the lane, at whatever time this was, past 2 in the morning, on a back road in Pennsylvania, with no houses, no lights, no help for miles in any direction. Sitting, completely still, completely upright, her hands in her lap, her eyes open, her mouth slightly open too, staring at nothing. I want to describe her skin. I want to find the right word for it, and I have been trying to find that word for years. It wasn't pale in the way that sick people are pale. It wasn't pale in the way that cold people are pale. It was pale in the way that things that are pale when the color has been removed. When the life that creates color is simply no longer present. Waxen, like something made to look like a person rather than something that was actually one. And then I saw the man. He was behind her, sitting on the guardrail, not leaning against it, sitting on it, balanced, legs dangling over the edge, over the drop I couldn't see, as thin as she was, as pale as she was, dressed in dark clothing that I couldn't make out clearly. He wasn't looking at her, he was looking at us, at the car, at me, directly through the windshield with an expression that I don't know how to describe because I have never seen that expression on a human face before or ever since. Not threatening, not afraid, not really anything, just watching, waiting. My foot had come off the gas without me telling it to. The car was barely moving. My girlfriend's hand found my arm in the dark and gripped it. Neither of us spoke. I think we understood on some level that speaking would make it more real. That as long as we stayed silent, we could pretend, just for a moment longer, that we were watching something with an explanation. But there was no explanation. There was only the bridge, and the woman sitting in the center of it, and the man watching us from the guardrail above the drop. Every instinct I had was firing at once. Stop the car, don't stop the car, get out, do not get out, help her, drive past, call someone, call the cops, but there is no one to call. Every signal contradicted the one before it. The part of my brain that was still rational was running through possibilities. Was this a medical emergency? A car breakdown? Drugs? A domestic situation where stopping could make things worse? Where the man on the railing was the threat and the woman was the victim, and approaching would escalate everything? These were reasonable thoughts, and I was grateful for them. I held onto them. But underneath those thoughts, below the part of my mind that deals in person and logic and explanation, something else was speaking. Something older. Something that doesn't use words. I kept driving, slowly, carefully, the left tires dropping off the lane and onto the narrow bridge walkway to give her room. As we passed, the man shifted. Just slightly. Just enough. His weight redistributing on the railing, his legs swinging a centimeter, his head turning to follow the car. He did not speak, nor react. He simply adjusted his position the way you adjust when something moves past you, automatically. We cleared the bridge, and as soon as we did that, I pushed the gas down. I did not look in the rearview mirror. My girlfriend did not say turn around. Neither of us said anything really. We just drove. For the next 3 miles, we passed no other cars. No houses appeared, no lights. The road was empty in a way that felt intentional. We drove through it without speaking. My hands on the wheel attended to, knuckles white, eyes on the road. My girlfriend staring forward. At some point, I don't know when, she reached over and locked her door. I heard the click. I don't know who she was. I don't know what he was doing on that railing. I don't know why a car flashed its lights at us before we reached the bridge. Whether that driver had seen them too, or whether that was coincidence, or whether that warning was meant to make us stop, or meant to make us keep going. I don't know if they're still there, in some version of that night that never ended. I don't know if someone else drove past them an hour later and felt the same cold settle in their chest. I don't know if anyone ever stopped. What I know is this. The highway is a place we think we understand. We have driven it 1,000 times. We know the exits, the curves, the way the road behaves. We trust it, and that trust is real and earned and deserved almost every time. Almost. Drive carefully, keep your lights on, and if, on some dark road, on some narrow bridge, your headlights catch something sitting in the center of the lane that your brain reaches immediately for an explanation for, trust the thing underneath the reason. Trust the thing that doesn't use words. Don't stop. Just drive. If you made it to the end of this one, thank you, genuinely. These stories deserve to be told carefully, and I hope that's what I did tonight. Remember that these places are somewhere to stay away from. If you've ever experienced anything like this, let me know in the comments. If you're new here, I'll see you in the dark as well. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Good night.